Hello Pisces, welcome to June 2018. Thank you guys so much for being here. So I know my equipment, my quality of my video is not going to be the best today and probably not next month either. I apologize for that. I'm also not doing an intro for reasons. And in lieu of the introduction, I've been doing little meditations for each of the signs, and they're pretty deep. You know, I try to connect as much as I possibly can with the energy of the sign to give you something to just chew on, just to think about, just to, you know, keep at the front of your mind as you kind of go about your day-to-day. And I gotta tell you guys, I'm feeling so much resistance from you. And I don't quite know where it's really coming from. Resistance in the sense that this kind of new era in front of you is feeling a little bit like a chore. And it's not necessarily a chore that you feel prepared to do. It's not that you don't want to do it. It's that there's a little bit of fear of like, can I do this? How can I live in this different kind of way that I'm being called up to do, right? How am I going to live differently? How am I going to be able to really approach my life differently and approach my relationships differently? With Mars coming into Aquarius, that enters into your 12th house. And I'll tell you that as someone who has Mars in her 12th house natally, first of all, you have an extremely active mind and imagination. Your connection with the ethereal substance is like really, really strong. I mean, it is anyway for you guys because of your Neptunian qualities. But it's going to be out of control this month and in the upcoming months, especially since we're going to have a Mars retrograde in Aquarius, okay? And coming up in the end of June. Plus, you have the activation of your third house with Uranus coming into Taurus. So the mind is where the focus is. Your world is going to be lived internally, which is why external action, external doing may seem a little bit more difficult than normal. Yes, you may hermit mode. I think we're all kind of doing this weird hermit mode, trying to figure out life, trying to figure out our direction. We're all kind of in that place just because what the collective planet situations are doing. But you more so because of Mars kind of being dissolved, right? That's what the 12th house does. It sort of dissolves the qualities. And Mars likes Aquarius. It's not like it's, you know, totally uncomfortable there. But it does not really like the 12th house. So now is a time to use to your benefit to do deep meditations and to just allow whatever messages that are needing to come to really come to you, so that when Mars comes into your sign later on in the year, you'll feel empowered to take action. You'll feel empowered to accomplish the things that you've sort of set forth at this particular point in time. We're getting the Empress coming out in the reversal. You know, like I said, I think you're really kind of putting yourself on the shelf for a little while, and that's okay. Your creative efforts, I think you're going to be in a very creative place. It's more of a brainstorming place, though, rather than carrying out the ideas. Write things on paper, right? This is even the number 3, the third house, Uranus coming into your third house in a card of Taurus. Well, how perfect could that even be? Write things down. If you want to journal, journal. If you want to start a blog, start blogging. Writing is going to be important. Communicating is going to be important. Talking through ideas is going to be important because it is going to help activate intellectual connections, right? You're going to be able to make logical distinctions between things. So not only do you have the power of the imagination and the ethereal substance with the 12th house Mars, but the 3rd house Uranus is going to make you prone to incredibly sharp insights. Like, holy cow, Pisces, where the heck did that come from? Right? And that's what people are going to say. Holy cow, Pisces, where the heck did that come from? Like, you're so smart, you're so intuitive, you're so on point. I can't believe that just exited your mouth, right? And it's that kind of feedback that's going to be incredibly beneficial for you in the process, in kind of this new era in which we've entered, because it is the launch pad. You'll need this feedback to help you determine this direction, right? And it's going to speak to all of you in different ways, whether it's family related, relationship related. You probably are going to be a little bit more chatty than normal, wanting to talk things through a little bit more than normal. Close friends, brothers and sisters are going to be your sounding board. You're going to have, maybe a little bit more activity, a little more social activity, but again, that Mars is going to try to put you in the hermit mode. So there's probably a little bit of an internal contradiction going on, which is like anytime any of your friends want to get you to come out, you're like, no, and you're probably going to experience some frustration with that as well. Like I said, kind of putting yourself up on the shelf for the time being. 10 of Pentacles also making an appearance. I think that's very Taurus connected, the money aspect of Taurus. Whether you are trying to come up with new business ideas or, starting new projects, yada, yada, yada. It's so important for you to really understand the role of money that all of this has. See, even she is in reverse. It's almost as though there's a rejection of the abundance. And I don't mean that you're not going to take it. Of course, yes, we do still need money to survive. And this is a conversation that I've had with many of the signs, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I just can't help but, bring it up when the 10 of Coins comes out. Your relationship with money is very much going to become something different. Your relationship with money is going to be under the microscope. And while you are in this imaginative, creative, extremely intellectual state of mind, you will need to ask yourself, is it worth the contribution that you're making to humanity, or is it more about your own personal kind of financial situation? And I think many of us are going to say, you know what, I really want to I'd rather be contributing than earning. And it's not to say that you won't still earn, because a lot of times when we align ourselves with what's good and what's moral, then the things that we need for survival and abundance even kind of chases us. So instead of us chasing the abundance, let the abundance chase you. And I think you're going to have a difficult time with that kind of shift in mindset, simply because it's probably so different than what you're really used to, especially since Uranus has been in your 2nd house for the past 8 years, which is the house of money. And so now, instead of like so much focus on money, you're focusing on ideas and connections and possibility. And like I said, like that money is just going to start chasing you instead. It's kind of like that rubber band effect. It's kind of like dating, like your relationship with money, right? It's like as soon as one person pulls away, the minute that other person comes bouncing back. And that's what's happening. I think you're starting to understand that relationship a little bit better. Not even surprised. Virgo has been almost coming out in every single reading. There's been so many repeats. This has been a repeat. King of Swords, Knight of Swords, the Hermit. It's like all the readings are almost like the same. The Hermit, the Virgo part of you, which is your polar opposite, you know, is highlighted. And I don't even quite really know why. I think these transits are activating a sense of the perfect self, because it's no longer in Aries, which is about the self, right? So we're like not so focused on defining who we are, because I think we've come to that definition. We've come to that sense of identity now. And now it's like, okay, well, now that I know who I am, and I feel very secure in the growth and the progress that I've made over the past 8 years, how do I improve upon that? And now that the focus isn't so much about having my sense of self just completely ripped to shreds from Uranus, right? I've reassembled, and I'm going to have an opportunity to really make myself better. And what is it that I want to do that really helps me make myself better? And by self-improvement, again, abundance is nearby. Abundance is all around you. It's almost as though all you have to do is just reach out and grab it. But see, this wise man is the same as this wise man. They're connected with the whiteness of their beard, right? So whether you are living in a metropolitan area full of activity and business and commercial things and focused on business and all this, or whether you're living in a top of a mountain, your attitude toward life seems to be consistent. Your attitude toward what's important is the same. You are a speaker of truth. You are a proponent for what is good. You are a positive contributor to the higher vibrations of the world. Pisces, you represent the oneness, even more so than Aquarius, right? Aquarius is a little bit more about the global community, right? Of the world coming together. Even kind of like the cosmos and the solar system. But Pisces is about the universe. It is so expansive, and it is like our individual lives are simply but one single wave crashing upon the beach for one moment in the vastness of time. It crashes and then it recedes back into the ocean, and the ocean represents the universe, right? It represents the all. And there seems to be this kind of this undercurrent, like this concept is the undercurrent of your modus operandi, right? Which is why maybe you're going into hermit mode, taking yourself off the shelf simply to kind of regroup, to reset yourself, to feel, 3 major arcana coming out, you guys. I mean, this is a no joke type of reading. This is the self-master, also a self-master. This is also the card of Taurus. So we're getting 2 cards of Taurus here, 2 cards of Virgo. Put my feet up here. This is about structure. I think these are actually very related as well. This is about structure. It's about our institutions. It's about our culture and our society. It's also very possible that you may come in contact with someone that you respect very much, someone who is very likely more wise than you, who has more knowledge, who has more of a greater understanding of the true power of the mind, right? Like I said, there's so much focus on your mind this month. There's upcoming months, actually. There's going to be so much focus on the dream state. You are going to be very connected with your dreams. You are going to be very connected with the feelings of other people. Your empathic nature is going to be super strong this month. And it's going to be important for you to meditate to understand those things, right? So if you're walking into a room with your friends and you're feeling like a sense of tension in your chest, it's probably because there's a very negative presence around you. If you're walking into the office and you can just like feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, it's probably because there's probably was some disagreement going on just recently and you just kind of walked into that thick, dense energy cloud, right? So these are kinds of the physical manifestations of your intuition and your empathic nature. And those are the things that need to really be understood. When you're starting to feel uneasy or starting to feel nervous or anxious about something, it's probably an indication that something isn't right, right? And I know that sounds like no doy, but sometimes people will act regardless of the red flags, right? And then they look back, they're like, oh, they hit the face palm, right? Like, oh, I knew that, I shouldn't have done it. It's time for you to start understanding how to use that intuition to your favor. And if you need to reach out to a spiritual guide or a spiritual whatever to help guide you, then please do that. I think that there is someone, some presence around you that can very much offer you a great deal of guidance. But it is ultimately about your own self-mastery. You don't have to have the guidance of someone else. This is something that you can learn simply through the process of meditation. It's something that you can learn simply by requesting, right? You put a request out to the universe and then it comes to you. And it might come slowly. It might not be like an immediate answer, but it will come to you, okay? So if you're feeling lost, you're feeling confused, just don't act right now. Oh my gosh. Another major, okay, here's the card of meditation. So again, not surprised. Like I said, these swords here kind of feel like icicles to me. I don't know why. It's like icicles and then the water drips down and kind of lands upon you, you know, and then your skin sort of absorbs it. It's kind of the process of the information that I was just talking about. The process of understanding how just you can be faced with some kind of problem or faced with some sort of roadblock, and then all of a sudden, as if from out of nowhere, you have this clarity. Well, that clarity is something that has been given to you, right? Something that comes through you because it's the right time for you to understand, you know? And as you develop that ability to raise your vibrations to the request, if that makes sense. So when you're in a meditative state and you're saying, okay, I want to know what I'm supposed to do to contribute to the world, and you keep it very open-ended, and you kind of focus on that question, you kind of just allow an openness about you. That is the process of raising your vibrations or attuning your vibrations to the same vibrations as the answer, if that makes sense. Because the question and the answer are the same thing, they're just on different ends of the spectrum. Okay, kind of like love versus hate, up versus same thing, just different degrees on the scale. And this death card comes out really, truly, always, as it always does, representing the shedding of skin, the way a snake sheds its skin. And you are no longer who you used to be. And that is the power of Uranus. That is what it tells us. It will always keep us uncomfortable. It will always shake things up. It will always keep us questioning and inquiring. Okay, like I said, here's a card of Scorpio. So Scorpio is a sign of truth, but so is Aquarius. And I don't think Aquarius gets enough credit for that. You, Pisces, having Aquarius in your 12th house, operate as truth, right? You operate as a seeker of truth. You're in the house of your subconscious. And so it is more important for you than a lot of other people to be aligned with truth. Because if you're not, then your intuition in that empathic Neptunian quality of yours gets all out of whack, right? And then you can get taken advantage of, and then you can you can be susceptible to some really, really dark places simply because you're not aligned. Okay. Oh my gosh, I've been talking for so long. You guys, I am a Mars and Mercury 12th house. Mars, Sun, Mercury 12th house. I have no concept of time. It's like ridiculous. Yeah, I'm a Virgo. But when you dissolve all your Virgo qualities in the 12th house, it's like, that doesn't exist. You guys get it. You're 12th house people. You're native 12th house people. All right. 7 Pentacles, 3 of Swords. You guys, if you're not feeling connected with where you're going, just don't do anything. It's totally fine. Please don't pressure or force yourself into anything right now. All these major arcana just tells me of the magnitude of the shift that you're really going through. Okay, yes, you are dissatisfied with where you are, but look, the 3 of Swords indicates to me that either some loss is needing to be incurred, you are needing to break away from something, or you recently have and you still haven't come to some level of acceptance of that. You guys, it's okay. When you lose, it merely creates room for something more. I recently came to Belgrade, Serbia. I'm here in Serbia right now. And you guys know Alexandra Terrell. I hope she doesn't mind that talking about her, but you know, she and I are friends. And when I arrived, I got taxi scammed, and she texted me like, let me know, how are you? How was your trip? Whatever. And I said, I'm so frustrated. I had this 12-hour delay in Germany, and then I had this taxi scam, and I'm so tired. It's been like 24 hours of travel to get here. And she told me, she's like, well, you know, here in Belgrade, we say that we need stuff to go out in order for it to come in. So you can expect more to come in. Don't worry. And then like, right before she even said that, I had a request for a private reading. So all the money that I had lost, I made up like almost immediately, right? So it's kind of the essence there. The storm clouds are still present. Yes, we are still kind of adjusting to this new density of energy. But ultimately you will adjust and the clouds are settling. We might not be able to see it quite yet, but I think the bomb has already exploded, right? And so now it's just a matter of letting the dust settle so that we can see clearly and start figuring things out a little bit better. So don't worry. Card of Aries. You may be dealing with an Aries. There may be someone that's very much not on your wavelength at all. They're probably, again, there is more of a distinction now, more than ever, between the people that get it and the people that don't. And you may be dealing with someone that really just doesn't get it, really just doesn't understand the vibrations, who really doesn't understand themselves. And again, as a more wise or more of a master of self type person, you're going to have that ability to really look in and be like, holy cow, like this person really is not evolving. And there's a stubbornness here. And when someone does not evolve, when they're being called to evolve, they get smacked against the rocks so hard. And that's not necessarily something that we really want to be, you know, around when that happens. Or maybe you do, right? But it's just unfortunate. There's just nothing you can really do to stop this because they are on their own cycle. They are still agents of free will. They still have choice and all of this, right? Your opportunities are coming, okay? If this is someone that you might even be waiting for or someone that you are interested in, maybe someone that you want to hear from, it is possible that you will, but probably not as quickly as you would like. This is kind of an annoying, it's like, yeah, there is this like thing and there is a passion or there is a spark or there is an idea, and yet someone isn't really acting or they're not really getting on board as quickly as you would like or whatever. And so it can be frustrating, but your job, Pisces, now is to just focus on what it is you're doing. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. Okay, this is a Scorpio card. This is it's the cardinal air sign, Libra. This is a Libra card, right? Put your head down. Do what you're doing. Stick your head in your books if you need to. Stick your head in YouTube. Do the research. Do the study. Do the inquiry. Do the meditations. Keep yourself inside if you need to. You know, you don't need to be so involved. And I know that that's going to annoy other people too, but that's their problem. They can just deal with it. You've got a process. You've got stuff you really need to do. And you are being called to live up to a lot of the expectations. So it's going to be important for you to actually do it. Okay? Don't be lazy. You can stay inside, but don't be lazy. Don't just kind of zombie out in front of the TV. This is a time for study. It's a time of sharpening of the mind. Okay? All right. I'm going to be clarifying especially the Three of Swords, the Death card, the Empress reversed, the Empress, and oh, I'm just realizing these are both reversed. Interesting. I don't know why I didn't catch that before. I'll clarify that, and also the Ace of Wands reversed, okay? In the comprehensive, I'll put the link down below. Thank you guys so much for being here. I wish you absolutely nothing but the best this month. Take care.